Hello and welcome to your Calgary real estate market update for September. I am your host, Brett Turner, and today I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about the Calgary real estate market as we turn the corner and head into the fall and winter season in what has been a crazy year in Calgary real estate so far. So today we're going to talk about the sales stats, we're going to talk about the rental market and the mortgage rates, but we're also going to explore the politics affecting Calgary's real estate market. And this has been a really big month for all of that, as we've seen some pretty groundbreaking stuff happening at City Hall. So are you ready to rock and roll? Well, I hope so, because we have a lot to cover, so let's get going. Okay, so first up, the sales statistics are not really the main story this month. Everything has gone up again, just like it has all year, and the story is more or less the same as it was in August. The average price for a piece of real estate in Calgary is the same as it was last month, about $570,000, up nearly 9% from what it was in September of last year. Sales volumes are up a little bit, but compared to 2022 year to date, we have not seen as many transactions in 2023. This is because of significantly reduced inventory. There are just not as many homes coming to market for a number of reasons. Higher prices and higher interest rates are making it harder for existing property owners to move up to their next house. And so they're choosing to stand pat, reluctant to put their homes on the market without something more desirable to move into. We are seeing 25% less inventory this year, and with such low inventory, you just can't expect continued record sales numbers because, well, there just isn't as much out there to buy. Well, as far as the specific sales stats go for detached, apartment condo, row townhouse, and semi-detached, the numbers all follow suit with the overall results for Calgary. Prices are going up and inventory remains under a lot of pressure. To buy a detached house in Calgary right now will run you on average about $696,000, while at the other end of the spectrum, an apartment condo would be approximately $313,000. Between these two bookends, we have row townhouses at $419,000 and semi-detached properties at $621,000. These numbers are considerably higher than what we saw in September of last year, with all segments showing double-digit increases over last year's numbers. But Calgary's year-to-date average pricing is a much more modest 4%, due mostly to fewer sales at the higher price points earlier this year when our market was still getting used to a higher interest rate environment. But none of this is really all that different than what we said last month. It's still a seller's market and still very tight out there. So if it's not rising prices, what is the most important thing to happen in Calgary real estate in September? Well, it is of course the decision by City Council to open up all of Calgary's single-family zoning districts to medium density development. Yes, on the 16th of September, on a Saturday no less, City Council voted in support of the recommendations made by the Housing Affordability Task Force, which will pave the way for the RC1 single-family zoning to go the way of the dodo and for the new RCG land use designation to become the default zoning for all of Calgary. Now, these changes won't take effect until midway through next year, so if you want to be kept up to date about this, please check our video where we break down the most relevant recommendations made by the task force, and be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to be kept up to date about how this decision will transform our city, because Calgary is about to start looking a whole lot different. So, is this change good for Calgarians? Well, I think this decision is a good one for Calgary. It will serve to rejuvenate many of our old and tired inner city communities and breathe new life into segments of our market that have grown stagnant in recent years. It all means exciting times ahead for Calgary, so be sure to stay tuned for all of the news as our new development regime unfolds. So the main reason why the Calgary City Council has decided to open up the zoning rules for our city is because this is their response to the national issue of housing affordability. Yes, all across our country, we have seen real estate prices and rental rates escalate very quickly, and municipal governments are coming under increased pressure to remove red tape and spur the rapid development of new housing units in order to meet these unprecedented levels of demand being experienced across the country. In Calgary, we just aren't doing enough to match housing supply with the demands of a growing population, and you can see it here. In August, we added 1,680 new housing units, but the city City of Calgary's population growth model suggests we also added over 6,200 new heartbeats to our fine city. And this all makes sense because we're also making headlines for setting record levels of interprovincial migration. More people are moving to Alberta than has ever been experienced anywhere in Canada's previous history. Definitely an exciting time to be here. So, in the context of maintaining Calgary's relative affordability across the Canadian real estate landscape, we need to play catch up with new housing construction. And that's the main reason behind this push to add greater density to existing neighborhoods all across the city. Shifting gears for a minute now to look at the rental market, rental rates are very similar to August's numbers, with the average price for a one-bedroom in Calgary coming in at $1,950 for September, and for a two-bedroom, it's $2,450. If you'd like to rent a three-bedroom house, you can expect to pay around $2,900 for one of those. The rental market is also undersupplied, and with respect to adding more rental supply, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland did rental housing developers a big favor this month by introducing a bill to remove GST payable on the construction of new housing units, giving an extra 5% to the very tight margins associated with rental unit construction. So it's great to see both the federal government up top and the municipal government pulling some levers to facilitate improved conditions for the development industry to add more supply as fast as possible. So what does it cost to buy a home in Calgary right now? Well, based on our average price of $570,000 with a 5.7% down payment, because you can only do 5% down up to $500,000 and you need to be 10% for the additional pricing beyond that amount, you would need $32,500 for your down payment, and your monthly payments would be $3,429 per month. This is based on a 5-year fixed interest rate of around 5.54%, courtesy of ratehub.ca. Now, if you have 20% down, your down payment goes up to $114,000 and your monthly payments drop to $2,680. It sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but Calgary is still less than half the price of Vancouver or Toronto. So in terms of relative affordability, we do have it pretty good here in Cowtown. So would you like to know what this means for you, or perhaps you'd like to know what your house is worth, or maybe you'd like to be notified when new properties come to market in your neighborhood? Well, here at Redline Real Estate Group, we would be happy to help. Check us out at redlinerealestate.ca and we can get you connected with one of our fabulous agents serving your area. Thanks very much for watching this month's market update. I can't wait to see you guys next month. Thanks again for your continued support, and we'll see you next video.